What does a loyal polygamous wife look like? What does that even mean? It's getting thrown around quite often on the show Sister Wives in reference to Robin Brown, so let's talk about that. Polygamous and loyalty should never be put in the same sentence. They're the polar opposites of each other. So the reference to Robin Brown being the loyal wife is really just political correct terms for her being the obedient wife. Because if he got up on TV and said Robin Brown is the obedient wife, the backlash would be unreal, or she's the harmonious wife. The AUB actually likes to use the term in harmony. So where the FLDS uses the term keep sweet. So as long as you're keeping sweet, you're being loyal to your partner. As long as you're in harmony, according to the AUB, you're doing what your husband told you. So basically, it's just political correctness for the term obedient. So it's not just the wives who need to be loyal or obedient, it is the husbands who need to be loyal or obedient to the priesthood head. So in my opinion, he is so wounded over this word loyal because he himself suffers from obedience and loyalty to the priesthood or the leadership of the AUB. We see in others what we are so lacking in ourselves, or what bothers us about ourselves. And so here he is over here, so wounded because Mary's not loyal, Janelle's not loyal, Christine's not loyal, but it's only because they're not doing and being obedient to whatever Cody tells them to do, because they have other factors in consideration, like children, like jobs, and so they're not willing to just do everything that Cody tells them to do all the time because they have children to consider. So Cody complained about the priesthood leadership of the AUB telling him he had to cut his hair. He didn't want to comply or be obedient. So is he considered disloyal to the leadership of the church? Also, does he have issue with being loyal to God because he's been disobedient to what he agreed to with God? So he has a lack of loyalty too. So of course he's going to be upset whenever he sees this in someone else because it's so prevalent in his own life. So any wife who pushes back and says, I'm not going to do that, my children aren't going to do that, or we can't make that work right now, maybe later, she's out of harmony, so she's disloyal. And so I think it's disgusting when I watch this man on TV and he goes off about Janelle's not loyal, Christine's not loyal. Are they not loyal, or are they just taking care of their children and their family first? And so that's where I have to question, when one man favors a wife and he's at her house all the time and her children are his primary concern, that other mother that is not that favorite wife and her children are not his primary concern, she has to make those children her primary concern. So when he says to her, I need you to do this, and she says no because that's not in the best interest of her family or her children, now she's disloyal. And now he gets up on national television and slanders their names because they're disloyal. No, they're taking care of their children and their primary needs first. And Cody is unaware what those primary needs are because he's not even in the home at the time. So how could he know? So he's going to make requests and demands that are unreasonable for the circumstances. I've been referring to this type of behavior for a few months now in several of my videos, so I'm grateful that it's starting to get talked about publicly on the show, about the manipulative behavior of seed planting and how you can give someone else their ideas. This is very common in people who have high manipulative personalities. When you have these highly manipulative personalities or these seed planters, we all do it to some degree. We all, hey, I want this Christmas present, so I'm going to slowly give my parents the idea that they want to get me this Christmas present. My kids do that to me all the time. That doesn't mean they're manipulative. But in a polygamy and this kind of situation, there tends to be people who come out very manipulative, and they use this to their advantage, this type of tactic to their advantage, and it's a constant in their life. It's not just something that says, oh, I want this Christmas present, let me leave little hints for my parents. Leaving hints about something is totally different than seed planting. And in polygamy, seed planting is a huge problem with a lot of the wives in order to manipulate the husbands to get what it is that they want. So, in my opinion, loyalty is just a politically correct terminology for obedience. And Robin has learned to obey Cody when he tells her to do something. She's learned very, very craftfully how to seed plant to get what it is that she wants. And I see this in dozens of polygamous relationships. This is not exclusive to the Browns. This is something that is very, very common. I've seen it. I watch it in my dad's family all the time. I watch 2 of his wives particularly do seed planting, and they do it very well. And so the husband thinks that it's his idea, and it's truly not. So loyalty, I would scratch that word. Every time you hear that word used in reference, I would just replace it with the word obedient, because that's the true terminology, not loyalty. And if anything, Cody's one who obeys Robin at her command, because she's that good at seed planting.